So our main stories for Sprint 3 were to continue designing more enjoyable interactions for Zenwalk and Zombies Interactive. By that we mean like a better balance between data collection and enjoyment. So we did some brainstorming, designing, building, and then testing. And then we also realized that we only had like 2.5 sprints really left in the quarter, and so we needed to really prioritize what our goals were. And so we spent some time laying out our priorities and our goals for the quarter and making a schedule. We also wanted to start working on like scaffolding, so we spent, Hyungsoon spent a lot of time building tech to afford scaffolding in the experience kit. And along with that, we started to think about how to direct users to a certain location, and then we quickly wrote up a final report to close out the URG.
Alright, so after some meetings with Hachi and feedback from SIG meeting, our current schedule for the remaining quarter, if we can get this up. Looks so one of the main reasons we put up the schedule was because one because we didn't have much time left, but also because we realized that we didn't have a solid aim of some sort for the end of the quarter. Hence, we are facing difficulty scoping the project and focusing on which parts we might want to be prioritizing. So these are some of the research questions that we've been going through just to kind of lay out what we might be wanting to do. And then this is the schedule that we have here overall. So let's quickly get that up. Right, so mainly this, by the end of the sprints, we were hoping to get second individual testing of perhaps the instructions and the tech up in preparation for the next sprints if it comes up. We focus mainly on testing these new improved interactions along with scaffolding and variation and whatnot. And then for finals week, the last half sprint, which is only a week, would be documenting everything and preparing them for the future, so to speak, just so that people could better understand our project even if we're out after this. So that's our schedule. In terms of tech, so we realized, one of the ideas that we were playing around with was providing users with alternatives in the instructions, so that regardless of whether or not they do something, they still have an option to do something else, and they feel that they can participate more in the narrative. So we've been brainstorming some possible situations, and I've been designing some more tech around them. So for example, these conditional moments are moments that when a certain condition is triggered, it's a basic if-else statement or an if-else moment kind of thing, where if the condition is true, it plays this set of moments, if not, it plays the other set of moments. Continuous moments are basically thus in situations where, for example, the condition is true, this moment will continue playing so as to support situations such as users having enough free time to stay at a tree for however long they want, and it's only upon when they actually move away from the tree that the next moment plays. Function moments are just very handy helper moments, so that we can perhaps save certain bits of context throughout the experience, so that we can perhaps get the distance between this certain moment in time and the current time. And also we implemented these synth voice moments so that we can better go through iterative testing of the individual instructions without having to do individual recordings each time. And otherwise, just some database polling, pushing potential verification opportunities and so on, so that we can better prepare for not only the improved interactions, the alternatives, the new dynamic interactions, but also the scaffolding coordination and perhaps the variation instructions that we'll be also doing more fully in the next sprint. We also went outside for the first time while doing user testing, so you're also following people around. One of the things we realized is in order to test scaffolding during the next sprint, we wanted to see which locations might be of might be more suitable for the testing scenario. So we tested along faster streets and the lake fill. It turns out faster streets with their very uniformly distant trees and lampposts and so forth, it was very somewhat easier to get the individual trees, whereas on the lake fill there existed patches of trees. Hence, even if a user was instructed to go to one tree, they might go to certain patch of trees instead. This was mainly also because of various inaccuracies in the GPS data and so forth, which we, through testing, have found can be inaccurate by about 5 to 10 meters, which is something that we'll be considering when designing our next interactions.